You want to give yourself a little extra boom, have a couple teammates on your side, but sometimes Shifty will ruin that. We'll see what else can happen in the final map. This is going to be chaos and craziness. I can only expect we're going to see some incredibly hot drops off rip. Some of the teams at the very top of the leaderboard might try to slow their pace just a little bit so they don't throw their tournament away. Be really curious to see what our last map winners will do as we hop on board with Team Smixy. Looks like she's going to hop out early, and they're going to go ahead and start floating above to see where the other teams are going to go. I kind of like this strategy. Again, hot drops are nice, especially for eliminations, but if you're near the top, kind of want to play protecting of that position.
I mean, I kind of heard some comms flowing, and it was talking about between Marsh and City, which is kind of smart, right? Because you can go to maybe like a populated POI, but find some buildings nestled just on the outskirts to go ahead and grab some loot. Like maybe you find like a good ground loot weapon. You're like, I feel confident with this, meaningful cash, maybe grab a UAV, kind of garner some information of the surrounding area.
A team landing close City.
Ooh, yeah. Taking real estate and account for all the teams that are coming through this area. Very well. I mean, look, honestly, Smixy might be IGLing this squad, and that could make sense, right? Forcing kind of Tomsterbaum and Echo to pick up that play style. I mean, individually, both excelling and fragging. Smixy, an amazing fragger, but having been captain of so many tournaments throughout the history of Warzone, it only makes sense for her to kind of take the helm and find info.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's funny. I wish we had the info that she has, right? Like, we can't see where all the teams are dropping currently because of the nature of the customs currently. I can't wait for hopefully a spectator mode down the line. I've been hoping and praying for it forever to where we can see everybody rotating. But as valuable it is for us to have that information on main broadcast to be able to convey some different rotations teams will do, like, Smixy's doing the exact same for her team. She's reading where these teams are landing and then can later down the line predict where they went after they landed in those positions. That's kind of the mark of a great Warzone player, is being able to understand where the traditional rotations will be and where these teams will go. So you can predict their movements and either catch them unaware as you beat them to that spot and hold them in a high ground position, or avoid that position if you're trying to avoid some fights. But according to their last map score, I would assume they're taking fights.
Yeah, it's Braxton that probably.
Pack 56 in hand, a wrap age. Look, I mean, yeah, definitely gonna grab that STB over that wrap. It's not necessarily where you want to be. Wars on your screen. Prodigy and Primza already hitting a buy station, trying to stock up. I really love that we're able to see the early game and seeing what people are doing. Those safe cracker contracts are so good to grab early game. You just have to basically go to 3 different safes. It gives you a good chunk of loot, lots of cash. You can hit a buy station, immediately grab your loadout. And this is setting yourself up for the success to be aggressive in the early game scenarios.
Yep. When you've got your loadout and you can get it quickly, you can hopefully push some teams with the advantage that you have. Maybe they haven't grabbed loadout yet. They haven't had the success you had in the looting. Going to push the equation a little bit. They're going to actually head over to, I believe that's a stronghold on the other side, and either make sure that nobody else gets their loadout or go ahead and grab it. We're going to swing over with Wars doing that, rather. Going to be looking for a quick loadout themselves. And those are kind of contrasting strategies, right? You go for a stronghold to get your loadout, or you can just loot up really quickly with a contract, grab your loadout, and buy it from the buy station. Either way works. It's just a matter of how much money do you have and what's going to be faster for your team.
Noobs in the gulag against Skullface. So this is going to be a really interesting 1v1. Noobs has the pistol in hand. Vaznev has another weapon, closing the distance. Has him in sight. Shields are cracked on both. Burning. Noobs within a... Oh, but the thermite. Look, I'm telling you, a well-placed lethal.
Yeah, to the forehead.
Yeah, to the forehead. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, well-placed. Straight to the dome.
Insane. Skullface with the stick to Noob's forehead. He's got a nice fresh cut, but this player just got their head burned off. AJ Moss and Ebates and Testy looking for a stroke of luck here in their final map. They've had a decent tournament thus far, but a pretty sizable one to hop up this leaderboard and grab some money. They're in 12th currently, and again, top 10 are paid out in this event. So if you're trying to walk away with some cash, don't have too far to go if you're that squad. There's a lot of other teams who are right neck and neck with you, though. So anybody's ball game for those kind of bottom 5 to 4 spots or so through 6 through 10. It's the top that's pretty hotly contested, but there's a pretty wide gap at the very top of this leaderboard. Buzzin' and FIFA Kill fighting it out right now for the 1st and 2nd place, with Smixy kind of hanging out in that limbo there in 3rd place.
Ooh, back to the gulag. Joewo this time. Braxton. Another heated matchup. Joewo electing to take to the top, looking for some information, gets tagged up. Both of them. This looks a little bit even. Goes for the reach out. Braxton gonna win that though. And honestly, I feel you, Joewo. The look on your face says it all.
Yeah, that's tough too, because Joe's currently sitting in 4th place, and saw one of their players, I didn't catch which one, was already full dead, so it's going to leave him with 1 player left alive. And certainly, you know, all 3 of these players, Skullface, you know, Joewo, Breadman, they can all play their lives fantastically, and probably will get all 3 back, but you slow down your early game so dramatically that you're probably not going to drop a banger. Hopefully it's enough to increase your mulligan, if you will. Like if you drop the 6 as your lowest, hopefully you can drop at least like an 8 or 9 and try to protect your spot in the leaderboard. But as Braxton comes flying back in, immediately the other team at the top, Fuzzin, taking out Braxton, grabbing another elimination. So far so good for the team in first.
Yeah, that's the hard part, is a lot of people, maybe they go into game number 6, they're like, oh, it's my last map to really do something, make something big happen, and you can honestly end up choking by doing that. So sometimes it's better just to like focus in and play your game, know what you're good at, and kind of stick to what you know. Maybe hit that same rotation. You know who you're going to likely run up against, because likelihood of someone else doing the exact same thing is more than enough. And honestly, hitting the buy station again, making sure you're kitted, have gas masks, plenty of shields. This is not a bad start, and taking to the high ground to get a good look-see of where everyone is. Love this for the team.
Yeah, we want to take that one, Panda. We want to take that one. The highest one on the left. There's one in this building, club.
They're talking about kind of positions and where they want to take. Gonna clear some players out of this high ground, and one of the ways to do that is from the water tower. First doesn't have the strength of maybe a signal or a LMG, but can certainly do enough damage to force a player to relocate, and that's going to be enough of a room and reprieve for the team to rotate in to the POI. Very well done. He's just going to get involved, though. Grab a pick. They need some kills. They only have 1 currently, but it's still fairly early in this match. So Hop's giving a jump over to the ladder. Lodi popped. Don't want to take this fight too aggressively, because you know they can probably have equally strength weapons, but oh, catch one rotating through the water.
One's one in the
Close.
water.
I like this Overwatch position. This is the building they called out that they really wanted to take over.
Doing good just on the other side of the water where the buy station is at Hydroelectric. Live ping's going out 68 meters away, gets absolutely lasered, but actually doesn't take too much of damage, which is really nice. Goat clamp. Looks like he was the magnet for it, just on a different building rooftop, able to hit the self-res. No teammate going to be able to tap him, so he's kind of on his own over there, not going to have a self-res, and I love this. Going to join up with the team that's still having significant fire going down against him.
Yeah, it was Iceman Isaac and this team right here, Mayapo and Otterize. Unfortunately, there's a 3rd team involved apparently in this fight, so that's going to be 3 squads all fighting out for these buildings, and I think that's the team that just took down Mayapo and Iceman Isaac's squad, or at least took down part of it. Picnic Basket, Nick Cool, the old Tiberius Khan, of course, without Face God Xenon. The old CDLR days.
Seems like it was just yesterday, honestly. What a good tournament. Fun times. A lot of these players kind of showed in, showed out. Oh, but look. Another player on the rooftop. Good eyesight. Let me just tell you, because they're looking like ants on my screen.
Yeah, I know. We're getting the second-hand view, but still. It's tough to spot these players out. This is one of my favorite fights from a strategical standpoint. It can get quite, you know, congested, and there can be a lot of teams in these buildings. This would be a fun in-circle. Just so many different rooftops and so many different fights you can take. But the buildings are all like 2 or 3 stories rather than your like 18-story downtown or whatever. So it's a fun fight, and you can play very strategic and try to address the fight from a number of different angles, work together to pinch and team shot. And so far, this team and the other team is doing a great job of staying alive. There's at least 3 squads here, and that might be a 4th that just grabbed that loadout.
That is actually tough. I mean, Hydroelectric is like a hotbed of activity, whether it's early game, mid game, it doesn't matter. It's one of the POIs that a lot of people either regain in or try to hit a buy station, especially if loadouts are going to be dropping on the north side of it, maybe the south side of it. Look, I don't know at this point. My head's all turned around and I just want a pot of gold at this point. Where's the rainbow? But hey, they're going to find one on the rooftop. Doing a little dancey dance. That man's not going to peek again. There's no way. Panda going to fall. Clamp going to fall. IQ, Picnic, and Co. are just ripping apart this trio.
Yeah, that means most likely Mayapo, Iceman Isaac, and Otterize backed off a little bit. It allowed an opening for this team to kind of push through.
Yo, Q,
Grab the elims. Jesus going to do his best to stay alive and regain for his team. Maybe 2Ks. I'm going to say we've seen him in the gulag a lot, but we've seen a lot of gulags on main stage. We'll just say that. IQ on the other side is a fantastic player, competitor, content creator. Been grinding the YouTubes. I used to play with this guy a long time ago. Very, very strong player and fun third to add to anyone's mix. But Timmy 2Ks gets the better of him. Just would not relent with the pressure. Zoning off with the grenades, holding the headshots or head peeks, and able to grab the elimination. Very well done.
I mean, it was must win. You can hear the hype coming in from his teammates. Easy. I don't know about easy, but definitely a little stressful. Speaking of not easy, FIFA kill, Soka, Aydan, really struggling here on the outskirts of Al Mazrah City. Are we going right back into... Oh, I thought this was Yum Yum for a second, but it's not. But FIFA running for his life. Soka down in the gulag. Aydan full dead. And FIFA running for his life.
Man was snaking around on that ground with some smokes. Hey, that is a huge take for Team Smixy, by the way. That was Smixy and Echo grabbing the eliminations on Soka and Aydan. They wiped this squad. This is one of the teams standing in their way for first place. And certainly, if they're grabbing that many eliminations and playing aggressive, it could see them dropping a 25, 30-point game again, which would mean, hey, they could potentially win this whole thing. Now, we're seeing Jesus, who also got sent to the gulag, so theoretically got wiped by Nickpool's squad. They just won against Hisoka, which means he kills all by himself. Got a self-res with the revive pistol, but in a tough spot, especially with no plates, like plenty of money, you got to somehow work your way to a buy, and it's going to take you a long time. So at the very least, you're going to see this team slow way down and probably not drop a banger because there's going to just be so much time spent on trying to relocate and regain and stabilize as a trio that you're not going to drop a banger map. You can still drop a decent one. They only need to replace Tiff, if I remember correctly, a 6. I believe 6 points is their lowest. So this is definitely a team that could increase their score pretty dramatically on the leaderboard as opposed to some of our other squads. I'm not sure what Pleasant's team's lowest score was. I know a 12 came through in the last map. There might have been another score just maybe slightly lower than that, but only time will tell.
Honestly, it's just really tough. He has the cash. The issue is a buy station inside the city. You think of the one immediately high rise, right? Like it's on top of the rooftops. You're going to have to make it to the outskirts of kind of one of the sides of the city. With the rotation on the map, my brain's like just trying to determine which area is north, which way is south. I need a compass here. I need my compass.
I need a flyover view so we can see where all the buy stations are and see where he could go. That's
Could you imagine?
I'm ready.
Oh, bro, I'm ready for it. We need that. FIFA needs it.
I know.
We have faith in FIFA. Pulling out the recon drone. This is the best. Oh, wait. There's not a fly zone in here just yet.
I think he still has it. Okay. Oh, I thought it blew up. I thought it blew up. I was going to be so sad for him, but I think it's the right play. I got to keep the doors open so, of course, you can get this thing out, but if one random person was around, he dies. Luckily, he should be able to see most everybody. Not a lot of people around. This looks free as a bird.
And here we get the aerial shots of the outskirts of Al Mazrah City as navigated by FIFA Kill. We did ask for this. Shout out to FIFA. Here you can see a large building lying in wait, and FIFA just full sending. Honestly, has a mortar strike. I say send the buy station. You can use your mortar strike to defer and like kind of draw some audio visual clutter to where maybe you want people to turn their attention to. But I mean, Mans is just going, parkouring through the city. We are all ready to hit that buy station. You can see just how close they are. That ring is about to start moving in less than, like 15 seconds-ish.
Yeah, you got a chance to look at it, and it looked free. So hopefully that's the case. The other thing is he had to go pretty much immediately because once this zone touches the buy, it will close. Very well done. Both buy back. So they're... Map number 6 is not done and dusted. They still got an opportunity to increase their scores, but they got to get a move on. They have plenty of money still, too. Super Soak is coming back in with 17k after being dead, too. So plenty of money. Find another buy potentially and go for a loadout. But classic, mantra tip that we've been talking about all day. Go to a different buy inside the circle. Probably somebody going to be nearby.
Yeah, and honestly, I just looked at the leaderboard, Goj, and we got some updates. Team Fuzzin actually in first coming into map number 6 with 105 points, and FIFA Kill 100.25. So I mean, mission critical. Because if you want to get rid of that 6, you need to double it down with the banger because the entire leaderboard is going to shake up after this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're talking about. It's like it's very, very close to the top. The question is who's alive. If we can pull Fuzzin's team's perspective, I would love to see where they're at and how they're doing, especially from the Elim side. You face Uzi and co with colors. A couple eliminations under their belt. I don't think they're necessarily in a place to make a run for the top. They're actually near bottom. I mean, around 23rd place overall with about 23 points. Could get a banger map here and maybe creep all the way up to 10th with how close this tournament is, but I need a big one. Would love to check in on Fuzzin's squad. Maybe Oki too. I mean, sitting on 65, only 2 points behind Joewo's team. Another team that's near the top, and here comes Super Biffle plus Repulse. Biffle finding one.
Oh, this is just annihilation, bro.
Yeah, it's Evan finding the other, so they're wiping Swagg's team. They can't get anything going.
Does Biff have thermal, bro?
Thermoscopes are pretty good about seeing through smoke. I will say that, Tiff.
Shot from my left.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. Good at seeing people if they are in there. Nate finding some success here. Drops one. That's going to be on Testy, but E-Bates is in the vicinity as well. Grabs Robstar, grabs Sean J. Sean J gets fooled, so this is really tough. We're going to cut to Sparrows in the Gulag taking on Foreign Jace. We saw last Foreign Jace kind of chilling on the underside, and now Mazra City getting pieced really quickly, and I'd love to see him kind of get his vengeance back.
Where is he?
It's a big win for Foreign Jace if we can get it.
He's still mid-stairs. On the stairs, laying down.
Good comms. This is a small stroke of luck for Sparrows. Unfortunately, it won't help too much as he gets beamed from Jace. Have your teammate in the Gulag is very, very nice, but Nate's now down. Okay, not bad shots through the smoke. Managed to make him think at least twice about it, but proximity mines all around. Not sure you want to go for that res right now. How do we find this team and how do we get him off of us so we can relocate? This is more about staying alive and grabbing kills. That's DJ Moss and E-Bates on the other side, and Kins. Woo! In trouble! Oh,
I was trying to work out where the other one was. I knew
that's a tough stroke of luck.
I mean, to be fair, the firepower that E-Bates and DJ Moss have, it's just absolutely disgusting. And you can see right there, Sean J. Team will be completely eliminated. Myapo, Otterize, and Iceman Isaac kind of set up shop here in this building in a Hydroelectric. Already on 4 eliminations for Myapo. Very, very strong start. They've got that safe cracker. I can't even say it. Safe cracker. Like, what am I trying to say here?
Canadian?
Maybe at this point. Sometimes I pick up accents when I hear people talking, and it happens like British, Australian. Next thing you know, I'm talking real Southern.
Sure.
It's scary.
Sure. Yeah, you can join me over here in the southern atmosphere. This team is looking pretty strong, Tev. I mean, this was the other team that was... I mean, they've been hanging out actually in this area since we left them, which was, what, 5 minutes ago?
Yep.
You know, this was the team that was fighting off of Nick Cool, Picnic Basket, and then our third squad here, which was Jesus' team. All 3 of these teams were hanging out in this area for a while. We saw Jesus' team get full wiped, and Jesus was in the Gulag, but... it does mean that this team has been holding down this POI for a long time. And seemingly it's paid off. Like, sometimes, especially if this is going to be in circle, you want the high ground positions. You want to set up for the end game and our mid game. You got to find kills along the way. Luckily, there's been other teams here to fight against. Hopefully, Mayapo's the only one that... or isn't the only one, rather, that has kills. Couple pings about some teams somewhat close by. Biding their time. Taking a look at the leaderboard really quick as we know it, and this team is currently sitting in 9th, so definitely worth playing for. You want to get your kill multiplier, of course, in order to increase your score, but every tally up this leaderboard from here on out is going to increase the amount of money they're walking away with. Currently, 9th would only be walking away with $600. Still a good payday, but 8th would be $900. 6th would be $1,200, so plenty of money they can still play for, albeit they probably can't play for the win. Play for a bit of extra cash.
Good shots going out. They got the information. There's a team on the other side of them, but not necessarily ready to re-peek it. Is going to bide their time. Patience, because you know that player is going to look exactly where Mayapo is. Trying to kind of shoulder peek it in a sense.
Let's go wait for this shit.
I mean, they're center zone. They don't really have to worry about anything. They've kind of just been set up here in Hydroelectric. And honestly, if we're going to have an end game towards Hydro, that's going to make for a really interesting dynamic. You want to hold the high ground, but you also have to realize that nade spam, streaks, all of these things are going to come into effect as these teams look to loot up during that mid game and bring all that utility towards the end game. But the hills, watching these, looking for smokes, teams trying to throw smokes for rotational uses or kind of regains, that's going to bring all the attention, and Mayapo and them are going to look straight towards it. But Mutex, it's just Mutex and Believe right now, Ghost.
I know, and they need a good score here. They're, I believe, about middle of the pack roughly, and a little bit lower than the middle of the pack actually. So they need a big one. From Rose on your screen, haven't had a chance to watch too much of her POV, but this is OP Mark and Shaded Step, so they have at least a second place score tallied. Decent tournament overall, but
Drop him some money.
not enough to really walk away with too much cash and continue to flip around. Looks like our team on the screen has restabilized. Everybody's back onto the map.
UAV. I'm kind of looking behind us. Hold on.
Like that. Gotta clear your 6. That as that gas starts to come in, you are going to notice that people are going to be filtering through this area, especially with a loadout landing right around here. Z-Colors does have a durable gas mask, and they're just on the outskirts. So some really good information in Mutex. They may be a duo, but finds a nice knock, and that's going to be on Aydan.
Okay, this is a huge fight, and because that's going to be...
Cheeky.
Thieves. He's got it in him. He's looking for another drop. This is huge. They kind of equalized this fight, taking out Aydan. It's going to be 2 more. FIFA kill. And of course, Ahsoka on the other side of this, should they choose to continue pushing the fight. Going to be a 2v2 at the very least.
Yeah, I hear it.
We've made our way into Hydroelectric.
Yo, we have a suppression mine if they drop through the ladder, okay?
Okay, I'm just camping behind.
Hey, yo, those suppression mines are unforgiving, and I like that they've positioned it right underneath the ladder. You can hear from the comms, Leave and Co. trying to anchor down this building just on the outskirts of the ring.
We should maybe wrap
I think we roll.
out.
I think we do. They're gonna have to move eventually. Look, I think we try to get to this building here.
I don't mind it, especially if this zone doesn't, like, it pulls away from Hydroelectric, right? It continues to travel up north.
Okay, I'm smoking it close first.
The teams that are hanging out in Hydroelectric and kind of like bide their time for too long are going to be punished by the teams that early rotate. So
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going.
quick rotate from Mutex. He's going to kind of hedge his bets and play the middle here, just in the outskirts of Hydroelectric. But let's clear this POI out, make sure there's nobody else in here, and so far so good.
I cross.
Back to Colors and Swagg's team. Juju's out to link 2, and they're going to be swimming their way into Hydroelectric. We know there's several teams here, and eBait's still getting the better of this squad. Now just Colors alive.
Look, we've seen him in this position before. However, this is very different. Doesn't have the cash to get his teammates back. No buy station in the nearby vicinity. They're not going to be able to finesse a team and grab the double buyback. So now everything is going to be on the line of Z-Colors, and he has been found out. They know exactly where he is. Does get peppered, still has at least 3 armor plates, maybe go out the back, but someone's trying to rotate in on him. That was beautifully done. Able to pick up the team wipe on Ebates. That's going to be Testy, DJ Moss, and Ebates, and Sparrows finds themselves falling in 12th as well.
Welcome to the end game, folks. Down to the final 11 teams, and we're on the outskirts of Hydroelectric. Mutex with a fantastic read on the next zone. He is dead center as long as everything went well clearing out that building. It's the building just north of the contract on the minimap in the top left corner of your screen. However, Wars center of your screen, finding elimination after elimination, and that's Super Ahsoka. That's Ahsoka. That's a team wipe, I believe. No, that's a team wipe on Swagg squad. This is getting confusing in the team wipe category in the kill feed, but at the very least Ahsoka's down, which means Team FIFA kill, the team near the very top, might be out, or at the very least close to it, with maybe just FIFA alive. Playing slow, playing trades. There's going to be a lot of teams left in the final circles, and we're still sitting on 9 teams left with this tiny circle out in the open right on the building that Mutex is sitting in, if they're still alive. Perfectly called, these final circles, and should make their way into the top 5 and potentially work their way into the money. But we've got to talk about the top 5 in the tournament. This squad on your screen, War is currently sitting in 7th, looking to increase their odds dramatically here. This could be a couple $1,000 swing if things go their way, but they're in a little bit of trouble having to rotate to the next spot.
I think he's going to fall to the gas, and he does just that. He just completely ran out of time. That's going to be Shifty picking up that elimination, and we know they are sitting near the top of the leaderboard. Here's that back in time with Hisoka falling. FIFA kill last alive for this trio. Stuck in a bathroom in a hard place, does have a gas mask, but is going to have to make it to that really open end game. And there's a hill included. Shots are coming out. They know exactly where FIFA is. This is where you've got to lock it in and pull something magnificent out.
Yeah, this is huge. Shifty's still alive and FIFA's still alive. That's the top two teams. We're gonna have to stim it up for a little bit and hope Mutex gets harried from another side. Mutex perfectly called the zone and is being rewarded for it. He was the one that grabbed Hisoka, and with the smoke, FIFA might make it just barely into the zone with the self-revive, but the zone starts moving and he scrambled. There's no way he survives. Makes it top 5. But Tiff, I don't know if that'll be enough to win the tournament. Only time will tell. We swing in. Mutex believe in trouble, and with a couple trades back and forth, they get eliminated as well. And Mayapo and Otter go down. This is chaos in the final moments, as we thought it would be. And it looks like our EU World Series of Warzone winners don't win this map. They get second. Who won? I literally have no idea. I don't think it was DJ. I saw them get wiped before. Oh, somebody's got to tell me who won. I have no clue.
Was it Mutex and Believe as a duo?
I don't
my
know.
thing is, let me just tell you, Goj, they called that, but...
Oh, no. Was it Sage? It was Sage and Shifty. The team
Shut up.
The team at first won it, I believe. We're going to see if we can watch it from this perspective. There's the wipe. It's Shift. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. And with a banger map as well. 8-4-3. That's 1530 points. Team Fuzzin' with Sage and Shifty. Most likely, unofficially, but most likely just secured first place in the 25k Shamrock Showdown. What a turn of events in the final seconds of that map. That was nuts.
I mean, look, you kind of talk about Mutex and Believe calling it and making their way through those buildings, kind of knowing where they needed to be, but it didn't matter because there were a number of other teams looking to do the same thing. So it's at that end game, it's who was already there, who had rotated prior to Mutex and Believe, and it's going to be Shifty and Co.
Yeah, that's the thing that was fun to watch. Like, I wish we could have seen their perspective as they led up to that, but it was kind of cool the way we got to see it from main broadcast, because we got to see Mutex set up in that building very early. Mutex's team found that spot and said, hey, I think we're going to need to rotate to this building, hedge their bets a little bit on the zone. It could have pulled further north. It could have stayed in hydroelectric theoretically, hedge their bets in the center, and the zone pulled center. So Mutex's team was set up flawlessly for the final fights. And because they did that, in theory, that completely ruined FIFA Kill and Hisoka's team from winning this entire tournament. I think if Mutex isn't there, there's a chance FIFA Kill and Hisoka stay alive, because that was the team that eliminated them both, which then comes down to first and second fighting it out for the top 3 spots in the lobby with similar eliminations. It was going to be very, very close, but because Shifty and Sage were able to pull it out at the very end, that should secure a victory for Team Fuzzin' with a 30-point victory. Huge ups for that squad to win it, and still a great game from Mutex squad. They could have crept their way inside the top 10. We'll see.
I mean, you got to double down, right? They've won 2 maps here out of 6 total. 5 are going to go count to the scoring. And they've had some really strong moments. You think back to the win in map number 4. Amazing clutch up here was just beautifully well played. Your zone knowledge is great. Just making sure that people aren't rotating in on you and just watching as people rotate, picking up limbs here and there. And that just goes to show you have to be consistent, but like a consistent demon, I mean, hello. I am sorry. The Shamrock Showdown is the Shifty show at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it was great limbs across the board from that team, and the one time they didn't need player advantage to win, Shifty pulled it out clutch. Every other time, player advantage is everything, and the team on your screen had 3 players up at the very end, had the player advantage to win, because what they were able to do that no other team was able to do, they were able to send 2 into the building to deal with Mutex and Believe, and the other, if you could see at the last moments, was sitting up on the ridge where the zone was headed to clean up anybody else and ultimately grab the final elimination. It was flawlessly executed from the team on top, and most likely, unofficially, they'll be walking away with that $9,000. Very, very well done. Tiff, I had a blast today, and I gotta say, I love Customs Warzone 2. There's some things we want to change, there's some tweaks we want to make, but overall, a very, very fun tournament, and every single map was a blast, and we had a variability of in zones, which is a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just think back to the time where we had so many Warzone custom tournaments and it was like a handful of us just calling all of the action. It's such a good time. And I'm just really happy that we're in the booth. We're getting to see it play out on Al Mazrah. And we are in March of 2023. That we're just getting kind of this year started. And it's going to be like, all right, hey, maybe you took home the first large customs tourney, Warzone 2.0 on Al Mazrah. You can hype that up, throw it on Twitter. Everyone's going to gas you up. And then you carry that momentum forward because we are just getting started.
Yeah, exactly. Just getting started indeed, and excited about the rest of 2023. And we'll see what unfolds with all the updates and everything coming to Warzone 2. You got to stay tuned for all of that. We'll see what happens with customs and the future of customs, especially custom events. But looking like Tiff, as the scores are coming in, I'm not going to announce anything before it's actually official, because we got to double check every single score. We got to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. But looking like actually a lot closer than we maybe thought at the top. Even for third place, looks like Iceman Isaac squad ended up, which we saw them inside the top 5. They ended up with a lot of eliminations hanging out in Hydro, a lot more than maybe we expected. So could see them inside the top 5. And I think it's worthwhile, while we have the time, to talk a little bit about that pricing and break down where all the money's going to go. Because we've got $25,000 in total, but we're split out between the top 10. So even 10th place will be walking away with a little bit, Tiff.
I mean, yeah, we had 27 teams coming in with trio. So if your fact is that you're paying out to 10th place, you just had to be consistent and throw up at least one banger to find yourself potentially within that top 10. And you're right, $9,000 for first, paying all the way back to 10th, which will take home $600. And that's just really, really cool. It's to bring up that hype, and shout out to eFuse, like everyone behind the scenes, the Shamrock Showdown. This was a journey through 6 games, Goj, but I think we are ready to talk about who is going to walk away with their pot of gold.
I know, and I think we're ready to announce it. Now, look, I gotta say this precursor really quick. All the leaderboard's gonna be updated. You can check it out, ! leaderboard. They're doing the math behind the scenes, but we do have an official winner, and I'm really excited to talk about this. The rest of the winners will be announced on Twitter once the math is done for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th place. Not sure where those line up, but the winner of the $25,000 Shamrock Showdown, it is official. It has been calculated, and it is exactly what we expected, only by 4 points, Tiff. Team Fuzzin' with Sage and Shifty by their side. 2 map victories and a victory overall. $9,000 going their way. A fantastic day in the office and a fantastic day of Warzone.
I mean, look, could you have expected anything better after that map 4 victory, just doubling down? They were consistently within the top 3, top 5 on the leaderboard, and it was kind of like they were just skating by because we didn't get to see a lot of their early games on the broadcast, but once map 4 hit, it was all uphill from there. So congratulations to Team Fuzzin' for walking away as the Shamrock Showdown's victor, and we're gonna have an interview, I think, right, Goj? We get to talk to Sage. We get to see kind of how it all went down. Sage is here. Hello, Sage. How are you feeling after that victory, yo?
I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling lucky.
Okay, we've
I
got
mean, makes sense.
We've got him in court. Hopefully we got him on main broadcast. Oh wait, are we going to a scene with them? We got him pulled up. Oh, we're just giving you your flowers, Sage. All good. Now, Sage, first and foremost, a fantastic day today. You guys played amazing all the way through the tournament, but it really was obviously your 2 victories that gave you a lot of points and a lot of confidence to walk away with this victory. And it looked like that last map victory actually is exactly what you